What is up, guys? It's your boy Kitten's coming back to you guys, and I am in the card room thinking about how to organize and finish organizing this after kind of finishing up my first block. Just my first 10 decks from the collection that I had from before, from playing again, because we did do some Corona stuff, and just literally just thinking about what I want to do for the next for investment stuff. And for me, it's gonna be probably like 1,000 sleeves, like hard cases and stuff, to just put away stuff that's like $10-20, hold it for a couple of years, and organize. Like do like literally just a ton of organizing. Get some larger sleeves. I already organized out like one drops and random crap like that. So otherwise, what I want to talk about is, honestly, I was thinking about the craziest trade that I've ever done in Magic the Gathering. Like, it was literally ridiculous, because the other day I was going through this box. This box had all my old commons in it from like a Zendikar box, which is the first box that I did coming into Yu-Gi-Oh! I still have my Yu-Gi-Oh! Binders and stuff. They're all like over there, right? I was just organizing some of the Pokemon stuff, like, just getting that binder full and doing all that junk over there. And I was thinking about, okay, so now I have to get sleeves, this, that, and the other. Story popped up in my head of the misprint box that I got from a store, literally with like tier 9 level players. Like literally, like when I went in, I was like turn 2 OTK'd on a board with a fucking Triskelion Infinite. And I literally was like, Vapor Snag? I was like, does this stop it? And the people were like, I mean, probably. And they literally just looked at each other, laughed, and they're like, honestly, like, it's fine. But like, that play group was great. But honestly, the story was ridiculous. Like, I went in, I traded 2 full sets of Exodia, the 2 rarest sets of Exodia in existence. Like, just the most nerdy shit ever. Like, it was literally like, at the time, it was like the $200 set of Exodia from a secret rare box or whatever, from Kaiba or whatever, and then it was the legitimate Legend of Blue Eyes first edition, and then also I think there was a third set, maybe. Like, it's a crazy story. So like, it's like 5 to 6 years ago when I started Magic the Gathering. Literally when I started, because my friend was like, hey, like, I'll buy you a deck for your birthday if you want to play. I'm like, all right. Like, I don't even play Yu-Gi-Oh! At that point. I just had my collection. So I was straight up like, I'm just gonna trade in like a couple $100 worth of stuff, like pay like a month of rent, see if I can get some cash. And the store was like, honestly, we're not really gonna give you that much cash, but like, we'll give you more stuff if you like just trade for stuff, because you want card stuff too. So I straight up was like, all right, we'll do the cash side, we'll do some card trades, like physical stuff for the decks and like this, that, and the other. I like traded my deck for Krufix deck, right? Did all this bullshit, this, that, and the other for trades. It was the craziest store. Like literally, it was ridiculous, because I don't know Magic the Gathering at that point. I don't know what misprints look like. Like, they really don't happen in Yu-Gi-Oh! That often. So I literally went in for an Avenger of Zendikar or whatever, the first block with the fetch lands, the first block with the fetch lands. And I traded in like $500-600 worth of stuff. They handed me a couple $100. And then also like, did a bunch of card trades, traded Krufix, a bunch of other things, traded like rarest sets of Exodia in existence, like D prisons that were like $5 at the time, whatever. Like, all that stuff is so cheap now, like, just legit collector stuff. But that box, dude, I literally was like, you know what? Like, it was a good trade. How about I just do $200 for the box, because you helped me out with all this other stuff and good percentages for trades and just investor stuff, And because I was talking to him as an investor, like, hey, this is part of my old collection. What do you want? What do you not want? What's valuable? What's kind of just shit for you? Like, you know what I mean? Because I'm about to just trade for stuff. And the guy like was like, whatever, So I ended up buying a binder and 1 box of the new set, because he was like, hey, there's lottery cards in here. You could just get lucky. And I was like, all right, cool. So I'll buy a whole box, just a binder. Like, I'm just not going to do cases. Well, nowadays, but not going to do cases. Bought the whole box. And it was literally like misprints with dots in it. Like, it was literally like 40, 50, 60 plus misprints. I literally had no idea. I opened it, the entire box, pack per pack, just like put it away, didn't organize it, just literally sat there, just putting it away, opening it just to look at it later. Like, literally just open it in the store and then show him the binder and be like, okay, so like, what out of this is like the really good rares that I could trade potentially and get like a different card just from the store, because we had already done a trade. And I'd asked him like, hey, if I pull from the thing, like, will you buy anything? I literally pulled over like a handful of cards that were the rares, because he showed me what the rares and the values and this, that, and the other. And I was like, I figured these are the good ones. He literally picked the cards up like at the thing, and he like looked at me and he was like, he looked at the cards and he was like, dude, like, you're gonna keep these? Like, what do you, he was like, he literally like looked at me like, what do you, what do you mean? Like, you just traded me this much value? Like, I feel like his store owner investor brain was like, what just happened? And like, he literally like looked at all the rares and was like, what did you pull? Like, it was like this moment of like, he like looked at the rares, looked at me, looked at the rares, and he's like, he puts them back down and he's like, what did you pull? And like, he looks over at like literally the organized binder with every single card put away. And he's like, what's in the binder? Like, literally, and there's people there, like old men, like tier 9, like legitimate, like $3,000, $4,000 decks just playing. And I was just like, you know, this young guy just moved to North Carolina. Like, I was like, okay, like, I'm just here to like trade my collection in. My friend convinced me to play this game. Like, and I was like, okay, so like, what's valuable? And the guy was like, well, I'm not gonna buy this. Like, he was like, dude, like, these are freaking misprints. And I literally looked at him, was like, that rare, huh? Like, you know, like, and he was like, all right, like, oh, the sun though. But he was, my bad. He was literally like, he literally like looked at me like, do you even know what you just did? Like, there was people in store, like literally, like he was like keeping it so cool. But at the same time, I had no idea at the time. No idea. Because I literally looked through my comments for a blue deck and I was like, oh, I need a bunch of common flyers. I literally found like 3 more cards that are misprint with the dots. And I was like, I'm gonna organize. Like, and nothing changes. Like, honestly, like I mean, I'm gonna shave a little bit. But to be fair, like it was just this moment where I like thought about that trade and like the implications of it, because like I'm someone that watches Rudy as a person and I literally like look at it and I'm like, yo, like, because the dude literally was like, okay, like I'll give you 50% on the dollar. And I was like, cash? And he was like, cash. Like, just like, yeah, not even, but like literally was, you know, like was legitimately like, hey, like I'm new in the game, but like this is like, you're gonna give me like more cash now? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, yes. Like, literally was like walking out with like a full crew fix deck trade and like all these rare commons and like ramp pieces and board wipes and just generic good cards. I literally was like, hey, they literally had $1 piles of board wipes, like random shit like that were like hollows and this, that, and the other. And I was like, yeah, just trade for all that. Like 5-6 years later, like I'm like, all right, like, like, to be fair, because I still have like a whole bunch of the things, and you know, it was a lot of good trade power, because at the time, like I could be like, hey, like I do have these misprints if you're still willing to just pay the extra $1, because it might be, you know, more or less depending, you know, straight up, but it is a misprint. So like it still will hold that value even if it drops, you know, and people will just be like, yeah, I'll give you the extra buck. Like, you know, even trade, extra buck. Sure. And it was honestly really nice, you know, go up, drive up, get a couple bucks, do a couple trades. And honestly, it's really nice to go back and be like, I finished my first block and I'm thinking like, you know, I'm getting some more Kamigawa stuff. And personally, I'm gonna try to learn a language with it. I've personally decided that I'm gonna get one language English and one language in something Japan, Chinese, just whichever one looks the best for me. Korean maybe, like it just depends, like Mandarin, Cantonese. There's a couple different written languages that look kind of cool. I honestly want the ones that look like faces, because they're like little webu kind of faces, and I honestly, that should just be a whole meme. Like little webus like blowing kisses at people. Like, that 3/3 dude, I literally looked at the green 3/3 and I was like, the card's OP, but like I'm gonna webu on over. Like literally just like put a whole bunch of equipments on it and just be like webu and like it makes me laugh so hard just to think about it. But yeah, so you know, I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe. A random old Magic the Gathering Yu-Gi-Oh player turning over into a Magic the Gathering player and then somehow getting a box that's like ridiculously random that basically probably caused a fucking robbery. So honestly, I hope you guys have enjoyed the day. And like, subscribe. It's been your boy Kittens, and peace, and probably going and keeping up with the times. For me, it's keeping up with the times today. Like waiting for, you know, to go out and get a couple thousand sleeves and just, you know, do the piles or organized part.